Today, we're diving into one of the most terrifying answers to a massive cosmic question. But you know what? We're not going to stop there. We're also going to find the surprising and honestly kind of hopeful path to an exit. So, it all kicks off with this simple question, famously asked by the physicist Enrico Fermi. I mean, think about it. The universe is unbelievably ancient and vast, filled with billions upon billions of planets that could support life. Statistically, it should be just buzzing with intelligent civilizations. But when we point our telescopes out there, we get nothing. Just silence. The great silence. No alien radio shows, no fleets of starships, no signs of galactic empires. It's this deep, profound, and, well, pretty lonely mystery. Okay, but here's the twist that flips the whole thing on its head. What if that quiet out there isn't an absence of life? What if it's a deliberate strategy by life? What if the universe isn't empty at all? It's just really, really good at hiding. And that is the chilling idea behind the dark forest hypothesis. A universe where every civilization is like an armed hunter in a pitch-black forest. And the number one rule of survival is, to be seen is to be killed. It's basically a cosmic horror story, but one with terrifyingly sound logic. So let's back up for a second and really look at the problem itself. What is this haunting logic that makes us expect a galaxy just teeming with life in the first place? The logic is actually pretty straightforward. You've got billions of chances over billions of years. Countless civilizations should have popped up. And hey, many of them would be millions of years more advanced than we are, with technology that could colonize the entire galaxy. Their presence should be screamingly obvious. But it's not. And this brings us to the science fiction author Cheng Xin's incredible answer. This isn't just a cool story. It's a brutal piece of game theory. Welcome to the Dark Forest. And it's all built on two simple, unshakable rules. Now, the first axiom is just cold, hard logic. This isn't about good or evil. It's about cosmic natural selection. Over billions of years, any civilization that doesn't put its own survival above absolutely everything else, well, it just gets wiped out. The only ones left standing are the ones who do. And the second axiom? That's where the trouble really starts. It introduces scarcity. See, civilizations always want to grow and expand, but the stuff in the universe, the matter, the energy, it's finite. That means, sooner or later, conflict over those resources isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. So you combine those two axioms, and you get trapped in this nightmare logic called the chain of suspicion. Trust becomes impossible. How can you really know if they're friendly? Even if they are now, what about in 10,000 years? And they're thinking the exact same thing about you. The risk of being wrong, of trusting someone who turns on you, isn't just bad, it's total extinction. So the only logical choice is to assume the absolute worst. And this is the end result of the cosmic game. It becomes a silent hunt. Everyone hides, everyone listens, and if you spot another flicker of life, you don't wave hello, you don't try to communicate, you just shoot, because it's the only move that guarantees you get to survive. Okay, the theory is a lot. But let's make it a bit more concrete. This hunter doesn't have to be some snarling alien monster. It could be something far more impersonal, or even something we create ourselves. Right, so think about Galactus from the Marvel Comics. He's not really evil, he just has to eat planets to live. Your whole world is just a snack to him. Or the Tyranids from Warhammer 40K. They're pure biological consumption, turning everything into more Tyranids. And what about a technological singularity? It might just see our entire civilization as a handy pile of atoms for building more computer chips. The real horror isn't malice. It's the simple, cold fact that you're just a resource. So, what happens if you actually win this horrible game? What does it do to you to become the apex predator of the cosmos? Well, it turns out that mastering the forest comes at a terrible internal price. The story of Lion L. Johnson from Warhammer 40K is a perfect example of this. This guy mastered a literal monster-filled dark forest and became its ultimate hunter. But that survival at all costs mindset just bred paranoia and isolation. It led to him being betrayed by the person he should have trusted most. His victory was completely hollow. It just goes to show you that a strategy based only on survival ultimately fails. And this is the turning point. If the hunter's path only leads to self-destruction, What's the other option? Well, the answer is completely counterintuitive. It's not about building bigger weapons, it's about playing an entirely different game. And the winning strategy is a concept called meta, which basically means universal loving kindness. Let's just put these two games side by side. The Dark Forest is a zero-sum game, a game of elimination that, in the end, everybody loses. But a game based on meta or a love-first logic is a positive-sum game. The goal isn't to kill off your neighbors, it's to build alliances that create more for everyone involved, letting you evolve past the whole conflict. Now, this part is absolutely crucial. We're not talking about love as some mushy, sentimental feeling. We're talking about it as a technology, a strategic choice to view other conscious beings as part of yourself. This is what makes trust possible. It lets you share knowledge, build networks, and create coalitions so powerful that a lonely paranoid hunter could never, ever compete. A team of cooperators will always out-innovate and outmaneuver a lone wolf. And, here's the most beautiful part. When you use this strategy, you don't just survive the forest. You actually begin to transform the forest itself into something else entirely. So in the end, every civilization, and hey, maybe every single one of us, really faces three choices. 1, you can play the game of the forest, which is a path of fear that eventually ends in destruction. 2, you can evolve your consciousness and exit the game altogether. Or, there's a third path, you can stay and help transform the entire game for everyone else. This is the key takeaway. The Dark Forest isn't a fundamental law of the universe. It's just a condition that's born out of fear. It's a game that only keeps going as long as everyone agrees to keep playing it. Every single consciousness that chooses cooperation, that chooses meta, is another light switching on in the dark. And just like that, this huge cosmic choice comes right back down to us. The logic of fear will always lead to a dark forest, but the logic of love, of strategic cooperation, that leads to a garden. The universe isn't some book that's already been written. We're writing it right now. So the real question is, what role are we going to choose to play? What will you help grow?